Hi, hello, and welcome back to F1 Challenge VB. My name is Mephisto, and our journey through the history of Formula 1 continues today with the second round of the 1950 season, the Monaco Grand Prix. The second championship race of the 1950 season was the Monaco Grand Prix, and it was held on the 21st of May. This was the ninth time there has been a race held here. There were a total of 26 entries in the race, but only 21 took part. Out of those 21, only 7 managed to cross the line. The race consisted of 100 laps, which were completed in 3 hours, 13 minutes and 18 seconds. The lineup at the start of the race was Fangio in pole, Farina second, Juan Froilan Gonzalez third, Philippe Etancerin fourth, and Fagioli occupied the 5th spot on the grid. The race was won by Juan Manuel Fangio. Ascari crossed the line in second and was 1 lap down. Chiron was third and 2 laps behind. Raymond Thomas finished the race in 4th, 3 laps behind the leader, and Prince Bira rounded up the top 5 and was 5 laps down. Finally, the fastest lap was posted by Juan Manuel Fangio, and it was a 1:51 flat. And that is a very brief look at the real-life Monaco Grand Prix in 1950. Now, let's have a quick look at the circuit. Like with Silverstone, the Monaco Street Circuit has had pretty much the exact same basic layout throughout its history. And just like Silverstone, there are obviously a few key differences. First off, the start-finish straight is situated just before what was then called the gasometer hairpin, which runs parallel to the street where the modern start-finish straight is. You then arrive into turn 2, the famous Saint Devote, which could be considered a high-speed corner since you barely need to brake in order to make the corner. Then you come up the hill and into Massenet, then Casino, which besides being slightly wider than today, they are pretty much the same. Then we come down the hill and into Mirabeau and continue on through Station Hairpin, or Lowest Hairpin as it is known today. This part of the track was pretty much as it is today, except maybe some of the buildings. We then come into Portier, and again a little has changed here. Then we enter the tunnel, which is much shorter than today. Next is the Port Chicane, a very dangerous section of the track. You can pretty much go flat out through here, but if you misjudge the corner, you'll end up in the bay and in the freezing water, and it actually happened a few times. Then as we pass the pit, we come into Tabac, which brings us back onto the main straight, and that is a quick look at the Monaco Street Circuit. Coming into the gasometer hairpin, on my outlap, I keep forgetting that the rev range on these cars is much lower than on modern Formula 1 cars, and I keep downshifting too early and causing my rear wheels to spin, which is not a good idea. Luckily, this is not timed yet, so I guess we can kind of forget it. And now coming into the Port Chicane, this is how not to take that chicane. This is an example of what not to do. As you saw, I came in way too fast, turned in way too late, and crashed into the corner of the chicane and lost my front wheel. And because of that, this is the end of qualifying. And now here we are at the grid, and we're already starting the grid walkthrough. Juan Manuel Fangio is in pole, Nino Farina second, Louis Rosier is third, Fagioli is fourth, and Harry Schell rounds up the top 5 in the Soul Cooper. Peter Whitehead is 6th, Prince Bira is 7th, Louis Chiron is 8th, Alberto Ascari 9th, Raymond Thomas 10th, Cabantu 11th. Although he didn't actually take part in the real race, Felice Bonetto is 12th, David Hampshire is 13th, Robert Manzon 14th, Philippe Etancerin 15th, Eugene Chabot 16th, Serafini 17th, Rec Parnell 18th, Joe Kelly 19th, Cuff Harrison 20th in one of the ERAs, Crosley 21st, and our character Andy Higgs is 22nd in the second ERA. So, well, that guy doesn't have any arms. Interesting. Anyway, the flag is dropped and we are off to a yellow flag. The AI is just so slow into the hairpin at the start of the race, and that's mostly due to the fact that the hairpin comes almost immediately off the start, so you don't really have time to build up any speed, which is a bit annoying, but oh well. Anyway, let's hope I can overtake Crossley here, and yep, that was pretty easy even. Now coming into Sun Devot, slow down, and to make sure that I don't crash into anyone, the AI has a propensity to have accidents on the first lap here, and there are a lot of cars, and I even saw a loose wheel flying around as I'm trying to get around Eric Chabot, who is very slow. And now a replay of the start, a little bit of smoke coming off my rear wheels, but that's okay. And you can see everyone is very slow into the hairpin. Again, it is a bit annoying that the AI that cannot go a bit faster, but I guess we have to make do with what we have. But yeah, this is that was the start, and here we have Robert Manzon in his car coming around. He loses control of the car through Sun Devot and causes a massive pile up behind him. And now Rack Parnell in his Alpha, he comes into Sun Devot and crashes into one of the French cars and loses a wheel. And Joe Kelly and Crosley were also involved in that crash, and they also retired from the race. And thanks to that little incident, we move up into 16th already, which is kind of nice, but I rather would have fought for this position. Anyway, we're now chasing after Felice Bonetto, who this time is actually takes part in the race, unlike last time in the British Grand Prix, where he was only there because, well, it's a bit difficult to choose which drivers you want in this particular season. Anyway, coming into Tabak, very difficult corner that one, at least back in these days, as you do not have the downforce to go through there as fast as possible. Anyway, we start off lap 2 and still chasing after Felice Bonetto. He's starting to put a bit of a gap, and we have Cabantu out of the race, but as I said, he isn't actually in the race. He didn't actually race in real life, so we are not going to count him as being part of the race here either. So we are now chasing after Ascari, who is very slow coming out of that right-hander, and we just pass Ascari and we move up into 14th. Very nice. So next is Peter Whitehead, who is slow through Sun Devot, and that puts us into 13th on only lap 3. We're making very good progress here. So we're now chasing after Raymond Sommer, who is out of the Monaco Grand Prix, crashed his car, and actually it wasn't Sommer, it was Serafini, sorry. And here is Serafini in his Ferrari. He comes out of Casino, loses control of his car, and I'm guessing the AI pathfinding kind of went south, and that is why he actually retired from the race. So we're now actually chasing after Raymond Sommer. He's in 11th and some 2.5 seconds up the road. Still on lap 3, and Louis Rosier is out of the race as well, and we move up into 11th. Wow, so many retirements already. This is turning out to be interesting, and here is Rosier coming into the chicane, loses control on the exit. There goes one of his wheels, and he's out of the Monaco Grand Prix. What a shame. Retirements are piling up very quickly here as we come into the gasometer hairpin, closing on Raymond Sommet a bit, but not by much. Hopefully I'll be able to catch him soon. And just a few seconds later, I finally pass Sommet and we move up into 10th. We're making good progress. Next is Felice Bonetto. Hope to catch him as soon as possible. Now coming into Massanet, then Casino. Sommet overtakes me for a brief second, and Felice Bonetto is out of the Monaco Grand Prix as well. And here he is chasing after Harry Schell. He comes into the chicane, loses control on the exit, crashes the car, his Maserati, and loses his left front wheel. Then Cuff Harrison, the other ERA driver, crashes into his rear. Thankfully, Cuff Harrison got out of that unscathed. So there goes. That was Bonetto, and we also passed Cuff Harrison to move up into 8th on lap 4. Making very quick progress here. Now lap 5, finishing lap 5, and Harry Schell is out of the Monaco Grand Prix as well, and we move up into 7th. This is very interesting. And here he is, Harry Schell. He comes into Mirabeau and loses actually, due to the lack of downforce, I guess, his left side right side lifted up into the air and he flew over and glitched through the circuit. Interesting little incident there. As we now chase after Prince Bira, who is 6th. Hopefully we'll catch him soon. Coming out of Poitiers there, I think Louis Chiron is out of the race as well. Yeah, a lot of retirements, much more than at the British Grand Prix, and that was Chiron crashing into the hay bales and losing his left front wheel. A lot of the incidents are taking part in that chicane. It's, as I said, it's a very dangerous chicane and you have to be very careful coming into it. Lap 8 and the sky has gotten much darker. Hopefully it won't rain, but knowing my luck, it probably will. And David Hampshire is 41 seconds up the road. I don't think I will catch him. And this is a replay of Prince Bira losing control of his car as he enters the chicane, crashes and loses his front left wheel, and that is it for this particular Maserati driver. So that moves us up into 5th and into the points, ladies and gentlemen. It looks like we will be finishing in the points once again. And coming into this right-hander, we see one of the French cars parked there. Not sure exactly what happened, but that was Philippe Etanceline. He's coming out of the station hairpin, or Lois as we know it today, and crashes into that banister. I'm not sure the owner of that house will be if he'll be very happy about that, but that is it for Philippe Etanceline. We are slowly getting rid of all the drivers, and it started to rain on lap 15, and Juan Manuel Fangio is out of the Monaco Grand Prix. This is absolutely outstanding. He was leading the race up until now, doing a very good job, but unfortunately he crashed out, it seems. And here is a replay. He comes into the chicane, and just like pretty much everyone else, although his crash is a bit more dramatic as he rolled around on the hay bales, but he's out of the Monaco Grand Prix. And there is Philippe Etanceline still in the middle of the road, or at least I think it is. So we're now in 4th, and Cuff Harrison is in 5th and in the points as well, and that was Fangio, or I think it was Farina actually, passing us and lapping us. Now coming towards the end of lap 22, we're coming in for fuel. We're changing tires because that's how the game works, but in real life you wouldn't actually change tires. Most driver, well, not most, everyone would have used the same tires for quite a few races before they would change them, and even then they wouldn't change the entire set. And we saw David Hampshire lapping us through the pits. Lap 24 and chasing after, well, not really chasing after David Hampshire, but Luigi Fagioli is out of the Monaco Grand Prix, so that will move us up into third place. This is absolutely amazing. It looks like we'll finish in third just like in the British Grand Prix. This is actually absolutely amazing. And here is Fagioli. He came out of the tunnel, then into the chicane and ramped off of that billboard there, and he's now upside down and out of the Monaco Grand Prix. Unfortunately for him, fortunately for us though, as we will move up into third. And now coming through Tabak, chasing after David Hampshire, I come in a bit too fast and crash into that staircase there. I actually thought I got stuck in it. It could happen. Thankfully, I didn't get stuck, so we can continue our race. And Cuff Harrison is out of the Monaco Grand Prix. This is the second time he's retired in this season. He's not doing very well. And here is Cuff Harrison. He came into Mirabeau, crashed into the wall there and lost his front left wheel. So there are really only a few cars left in the race. This is lap 32 and Nino Farina crosses the line to win the Monaco Grand Prix in 1950. David Hampshire will finish in second. Yeah, so a lot of retirements once again, more than in Britain, and there we come around to cross the line, come home in third. And here are the race results. We see Raymond Sommer finished in fourth and Eugène Chabot is fifth, with Harry Schell posting the fastest lap. Unfortunately, he didn't actually finish the race as he did in real life. And here is the list of retirements. Most of the big names are here. We have Fagioli, Fangio, Ascari, Prince Bera, Louis Chiron, Louis Rosier. It's kind of interesting that the big names managed to crash out of these races, not the smaller drivers or the lesser known drivers. Although I guess by this point they are quite well known. A lot of time has passed between now and then. But yeah, that was the Monaco Grand Prix. Here are our career stats. We have 2 Grand Prix entered. Our best start is still 18th, unfortunately. Best finish 3rd, that's twice now. We have 8 points. We've completed 55 out of the total 58 laps. We have 2 bronze trophies, and one of my subscribers has also suggested I add podiums to the list, and I did, which we do not have any, as back in these days only the winner was considered to be on podium. Second and third were, well, just second and third. It wasn't until around mid-70s when second and third were also considered to be podiums. So, for the interest of realism, we will stick with that. So, David Hampshire takes the lead of the championship, pushing Schell down to second. We look pretty solid in third. Farina wins his first race and takes fourth in the championship, and Raymond Sommet is fifth. Notable mentions are Fangio, who is having a very difficult season so far. He has yet to even finish a race. Ascari is doing somewhat better, but not by much, and Fagioli is in a tough spot as well. But overall, this season is shaping up to be quite an interesting one. I'm quite curious to see if Farina will be able to win the championship, just as he did in real life. I guess we'll have to find out. But after the next race, we will have to start to drop points, and that will have a huge effect on the championship, and it will be a deciding factor in who ends up where at the end of the season. Anyway, next up we have a rather interesting race, which is the Indianapolis 500. And the interesting part about it is that it wasn't sanctioned by the FIA. Instead, it was sanctioned by the AAA, which I'm guessing is the United States equivalent of the European FIA. And it was basically an oval styled race. Another interesting thing about it was that none of the actual Formula One drivers took part in it. Most of the drivers who took part were actually from the US. With one single exception, Felice Bonetto actually signed up for the race, however, his car didn't arrive in time, so he didn't actually race. But because it is part of the official Formula One calendar, we are going to take part in the race. And because the mod doesn't include the drivers that actually took part in the real Indianapolis 500 in 1950, we will have to make do with the proper Formula 1 drivers. So yeah. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, stay sharp.